One of those teams is going to get Deshaun Watson and leap ahead of everyone in the division that's not named Tampa Bay. Want to talk about like a lazy person thing? You can't be patient enough to let the ice cream soften up. You're going to microwave ice cream? Who does this? Who does this? Who microwaves ice cream?
In Mexico, I had that like electric stove,
Yeah.
So I would hit power. I'd turn it on to high for like 3 seconds, and then I put my ice cream on top of that. Turn it off, obviously.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's 3 seconds. But I mean, come on, take your ice cream, let it sit out for a minute, it's going to soften up. But you're going to microwave ice cream. Now you're going to have ice cream that's hard and like melting. It's not going to be,
I wouldn't
you're
microwave
zapping it. Right? Yeah, it's microwave ice cream. That's like,
But anytime
microwave
anytime you're eating ice cream, it's not like you're thinking ahead that you're going to eat ice cream. It's impulsive. You want it now, and I don't want to wait. Even if
I
that's
want
like
it now.
Even if that's 3 minutes. Even if that's 3 minutes. What's your favorite ice cream, Cage?
It depends, man. It really depends on how I'm feeling, right? If we're just normal, I'm a vanilla over chocolate. But sometimes I feel like eating chocolate. If we're talking about like, stuff in it, I like a cookies and cream sometimes. I like a butter pecan. If we're getting really fancy, I'm a peanut butter guy. I'm a fat guy. Fat guys like peanut butter.
No way.
So I'll do like if I get ices, Ralph's Ices is like my favorite. And first Ralph's Ices in Staten Island,
Peanut butter ice cream?
Where I grew up. And they have a peanut butter cookie dough, which is just fantastic. I'll take that. Like a cream ice, peanut butter cookie dough, cream ices. I'll eat a gallon of that. I don't care. That's some good stuff right there. Good time.
I'm a Rocky Road or pistachio.
Pistachio? Weird people eat pistachio. But it's okay. I mean, you're allowed to like what you like. That's,
You started this thing off with vanilla or chocolate. I didn't expect you to go so plain Jane.
Yeah, vanilla. Well, I mean, ice cream's ice cream. You put all that other shit in there, and it's like something different, right? It's no longer ice cream. It's like ice cream, but you're eating it for the stuff that's in it. You're eating it for the cookie dough. You're eating it, for all the other garbage. So Rocky Road, you're eating it for the marshmallows and the nuts.
The marshmallows are so good.
That's what you're eating it for. You're not eating it really for the chocolate ice cream. That's the base.
So episode 619 of Lucas Tigers and Bronzo My big night in the hobby. I got to tell you, man, I get excited when the hobby gets excited. It's a big deal. I think all you guys know the talk of the night. It wasn't even Kyrie's 60-point night. That wasn't the talk of the town. Anywhere you went on Instagram, anyone's story, anyone's feed, it was Drake's opening flawless boxes.
Can I tell you something?
Real quick, they're not real boxes. I know you don't. You're going to go contrarian on me. But they're not even real boxes. They look like poker cases. So I've never been privileged enough to buy a flawless.
What do you mean they're not real boxes? That's what a flawless box looks like.
I know, but the people like me who get like a Prism box, it's actually a cardboard box. That looks like poker chips became hot in like mid 2000s when people were playing poker. That's like a poker set. That's what that looks like to me. With even like the little like locks on the side and all that.
It's supposed to be like a Halliburton case, you carry cash and it's supposed to be like fancy. It's supposed to be like, there's something valuable inside of it.
Have you ever opened flawless?
I've never opened flawless. No, I wouldn't open boxes that are that expensive. I don't have the balls or the wallet.
I'm sure you'll gamble on amounts that expensive though. So if you're gonna gamble, is flawless the thing to buy? Because it is a really awesome looking product.
Nah. I mean, it's definitely cool, but you watch it and you watch enough of it get opened, and you're like, did I pay how much for a Mark Price autograph? I paid how much for who? I mean,
Kyrie.
So
you don't care about Drake. Drake doesn't do it for you. He doesn't get you all excited.
The fact that Drake is buying high-end sports cars doesn't get me excited. And it's cool, I guess, that he's doing it publicly, but he's a fan, right? And obviously there are people with money who buy sports cards because we see every week an auction end with millions of dollars of cards, single cards, 7 figures, right? So, is this now a public face to it? Is that the story? I mean, is it better when you have a celebrity buying? I don't know. I don't know.
I thought you were going to go a different direction. I thought you were going to be like, wait a second. The hobby gave Steve Aoki a lot of heat, but Drake, they're ready to put on a pedestal.
Well, there's a difference, right? And I hate that you call me contrarian because you don't even know what I'm going to say. It's Steve Aoki came into the hobby, bought a lot of stuff, and then he became part of the hobby, right? Like I think he owns a piece of MetaZoo. He's involved in like
What is MetaZoo?
MetaZoo is like a Magic the Gathering, Pokemon type of like RPG, it's based on like urban myth and legends across the country. I think there's like a Mothman card. Remember the Mothman prophecies? I think there might be like a Chupacabra card. It's based on that kind of stuff. I don't know.
MetaZoo has formally announced a partnership with Steve Aoki, who will be employed as a full equity partner and co-founder. July 29, 2021.
One day we passed the MetaZoo table and the guy was like, here's a pack for each of you, and this is what we're doing. The next day it said, I don't have any packs left because Steve Aoki stopped by the table and bought a third of the company. So now I have no packs left to give out because everybody wants it. This is what happened. So
right before National.
At National. Wow. One day I was there. Then the next day I walked by with Marino from Collectible. And
can we give him some love today, Cage? I mean,
Marino?
6 months in the making, been collective. Regardless of what you think, if you ever have to push a show because of something external, COVID, like what Omicron was going nuts, whichever way you stand, that's tough because you're working so hard up that finish line and then to push it. But I'll tell you, man, I've DM'd with a lot of people, a lot of high up people the last few weeks. They're going, and they're always there. Are you going to be in Chicago? Or are you going to be in Vegas? Are you going to be in Dallas? Or are you going to be in Vegas? So it's going to be a good show, guys. I hope you're going.
I mean, listen. So I don't believe, although I could be wrong, that Drake is buying now because he wants to establish a brick and mortar or a card set of his own. Now, is it possible? Is this all part of a grand design? He bought these flawless cards from Panini. You would think he would have bought something Topps, maybe Topps Transcendent, if where I'm about to go makes sense. But you know that Josh Luber was just on our show, and he did a V-Friends, is a pop culture Drake release next in the works. And Drake is coming in to kind of become a hobbyist insider and get people all excited. Hey, Drake's one of us. Let's buy his cards. I mean, is that right? Is that where we're going? I don't know. I'm a conspiracy theorist, so So that's the deal. Plus, I don't like the new dreadlock look thing he's got going either.
I don't think that's a conspiracy. That's a brilliant play. I'll tell you, the funny thing is when we see a celebrity on Twitter say, which NFT should I get into? That's a deadlock giveaway that they're going to launch their own NFT.
Of course. We say that all the time. Yep. So why not this?
I actually think a Drake release on Zero Cool will be actually. I think it would do big things. You can't knock Drake's reach, man. People love the guy. People really love Drake.
Okay.
Pop culture wise, like if Gary has a lot of fans and detractors, Drake doesn't have very many detractors. He has a lot of fans.
Okay. I mean,
do you disagree? I don't. Why the hesitation?
Listen, I'm fine either way. It's not that I disagree or whatever it may be.
You're not a fan of Drake?
If he comes into the hobby, clearly it's God's plan, and there's nothing I can do about it.
You're so stupid, man. Sometimes
I don't want to get all in my feelings over here. There's nothing I can do about it. It's God's plan. I got my own wants and needs.
How are you gonna intertwine passion fruit into this?
I'm not. The passion fruit's over in Marvin's room.
You're so foolish, man. But dude, sometimes you got to reach across the aisle,
Yeah, man. Not this guy. He's got no friends in the industry. I can do this all day. I can do this all day. I can do this all day. It's like lemon pepper freestyle. I can do this all day if you want, No big deal, man. Big deal.
Baseball, basketball, football. Deshaun. Talking about in your feelings, Baker Mayfield with his post to Cleveland. Deshaun, anything there? You want to talk about that from a legal standpoint? They're having meetings. They got to be asking him, dude, is anything else going to come out here? They got to ask the question, right?
I mean, listen, you got to know yourself. Should I stop with these? Should I stop with the Drake song?
We don't have a live crew. I think they would be loving it, though, if we did.
I mean, I feel for Baker Mayfield, man. I mean, I really do. He started from the bottom.
In Oklahoma? In a 71-point game with Patty Mahomes?
I mean, he wasn't in Portland with Quavo and Travis Scott, but, I mean...
Drake drops bangers, man. I understand the Drake shade, but, man, the guy has reach. The guy has reach. He has pull. They love him in Toronto. He's a huge ambassador of that team. I don't listen to a lot of Drake music, but I respect what kind of culturally what he does.
Well, listen, this is a good bit. I'm glad you're having fun with it. Laugh now, cry later. So, I mean, listen, we're having some fun here. So as far as the Deshaun Watson, I don't believe he's going to the Browns. I believe anybody who's in his cards, if he signs where I believe he signs, I think he's going to go into the NFC. I think it's very smart to go to the NFC because the NFC is light, the NFC is weak. I think there was probably to use again God's plan here.
Cage has said this 5-6 times, and usually when he says, so we do a show every day, so obviously we give plays, but when you double triple down on something, I would pay attention. And you've talked about how the NFC is super light.
Yep. And if he goes there, Carolina, New Orleans, he's going to a team that he will succeed, right? Because within the division, only one of them can get him. The other one's going to be terrible, right? I even heard Atlanta's name being, I tried. I'm not good with the computer. Liam, you can feel free to steal this, but I was gonna make like a fake tweet of like Calvin Ridley, like I'll bet you $1,500 Deshaun ends up in Atlanta. Like I was gonna post like a fake tweet, like
you couldn't
Calvin
do that with the computer.
I don't know how to do it, and I was gonna have my daughter do it, but she was asleep already when I thought of it. So I was gonna do like a whole like
I'm not good with the computer. I couldn't.
So
put text on a tweet.
I couldn't Photoshop the thing in. I don't know what I'm doing. So I just if it takes more than like
Guys,
2 seconds to do.
If you don't appreciate what our podcast is after that, then I don't know if you like what will do it. Like this guy's done 620 episodes on a broken phone. He doesn't even know how to use a computer.
It's cracked
to crop out. Oh man,
yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue. But it would have been funny. But anyway, so Atlanta's even one of those teams is going to get Deshaun Watson and leap ahead of everyone in the division that's not named Tampa Bay. And you can go up and down in the NFC. They're going to be playing the NFC. There's not that many great teams in the NFC. Like he will probably take whatever team he signs with in that division to the playoffs. Right? That's my take, which means you started from the bottom. Now we're here. I mean, you have somebody who you can invest in light and is probably going to have a good season, not just because he's going to show up and be, godlike on the field, but because the quality of ball that's going to be played in the NFC is not going to be very good. I'm throwing it out there. It's the AFC dominant league this year, which is really funny because, the NFC seems, like I said, to find a way to win the Super Bowl. But you got Rodgers, you got Brady, you got nothing.
That happened for a while in the NBA from like 2010, maybe 2000, to about 2016. It was Western Conference dominant, man. Yep. And it was LeBron in the East. It was LeBron in the East, and then whoever came out the West. That's how it kind of played.
I mean, listen, I'm curious to see how it goes. If I'm Baker Mayfield, I mean, look, Baker has not looked good. His numbers last year were bad. Like, we're talking about people are crushing Carson Wentz, right? Oh, he's terrible. Baker's numbers were worse than Wentz's last year. Look at him. I looked at them because, I never know where you're going to take me. But you look at Baker's numbers, they were
What do you think I think about Baker?
I've
said
he's terrible. I think he's overrated.
One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
So, but he's a guy who's a candidate for when the rookie contract is up, no one signs him. Like, he's a guy that, like, he's not the personality or the team player type that you're going to say, all right, you know what? We're going to sign him. He can compete for a starting job. And if he doesn't get the starting job, he's an able backup we can keep on the bench. He doesn't come across as like a team player, clubhouse kind of guy that you would sign for that, or somebody who'd be willing to accept that kind of role. And yeah, there are not many quarterbacks that when you finish with that rookie deal, they're done, he's a candidate for that.
Which is
crazy.
because
Wasn't he the number one pick?
Yeah, he was up there. I'll look at it now, but he's also in State Farm commercials, which I think is hilarious.
Yes, he is. Which it's one of those things, by the way, that I do not like when I see someone who I have invested in.
He was the first overall pick.
Yeah, number one overall pick.
2018 draft.
Yeah. Picked ahead of Lamar. Picked ahead of Josh Allen.
Jesus.
Yeah, picked ahead of Darnold, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah, think of those guys. He picked ahead of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and several other players from that draft. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. It really is. But I don't like when I see people doing commercials, right? Because they should be doing something else. They should be training. They should be, and they often seem to get hurt. Saquon Barkley, right? Doing commercials, getting hurt. People just get hurt. Anyway, so there's that fun. There's that craziness. Couple little service announcements, right?
Please,
guys, we are doing our NCAA pool. Right, you still have time to enter, but not much, obviously. Get into our Discord. Hit us up if you want a Tiger. It is an entrance to win an Origins box from this year's Origins, the one with Luca on the cover of it. Nice box, cost me a pretty penny. Hopefully you get something awesome in it because I opened one and didn't get anything great. So maybe this one will have some great stuff in it. But for owning a Tiger, you win that. We're allowing folks who don't own Tigers to enter, but you can't win the prize. Maybe I'll have something for you guys. And I'll probably add some second prize, third prize. I'll probably add some other fun stuff too. But, we're making this. If you're a Tiger NFT owner, a Tiger NFT owner is going to win an Origins box. It's like $400 and something just for owning the Tiger and figuring out how to do March Madness and that kind of fun stuff. We're trying to, sprinkle in continued fun like that. So we got that. And what else? Got anything else fun going down?
SGC sub.
SGC
people are starting to send to your PO box in New York. Well, we're going to open up a PO box in Florida in some point in April to do kind of hand-to-hand combat, deliver it right to the doorstep of SGC, pick it up right from the doorstep, which will probably cut out a week here and there. But for now, we're just doing straight SGC shipped by Cage, and you can ship it to a PO box. It's on our Instagram page. On the highlights tab is the address. Send your cards there. It's $30 a card. We're obviously going to get that price down as we do more volume. But really, we were doing 50 free submissions every month. We're still doing that for Tiger holders. But now people ask, can I throw in extra cards? I want to grade them with SGC. We talked to SGC. We're good to go. So $30 a card. Send it to the PO box in New York City. It's on our Instagram page, the little highlights tab. They're turning them around fast. It's funny. Yeah. The first two were turned around like a week. The second one, this next one now is 12 days in Cage. Is like, what's going on?
I was like, wait, what's going on? Oh, wait, the CEO just got married. So we'll allow. There's probably some people who work there who were busy for the weekend, so it's not that big of a deal. But guys, come on, 2 weeks for our call. Let's go. Turn that shit around. Who's playing? It's great stuff. March Madness. Let me tell you guys a really quick. You don't watch it. There are people who love it. There are people who love it. There are people who are college basketball fans. They like the purity of the game. They like the storylines. They like the Jim Valvano. They like the guys who have that promise to get into the NBA and be somebody great. The Kenny Andersons, the Fat Lever, right? Lafayette, but they call him Fat. The Vinny Del Negro stories, Stacy Plastic Man, Augman, Brad Daugherty out of North Carolina. I mean, the stories that, some of them pan out, some of them don't. Alex English, who's a great NBA player, just missed out on.
Did you ever get to see Len Bias play?
I did. He played for Maryland, and he almost single-handedly beat that UNLV team at the end. I think he scored, the last 20 points.
19 out of 21, right?
Yeah, just nuts. And then he OD'd, which was pretty terrible. Yeah. Number two pick for the Celtics, I think he was. Second pick, maybe.
On this day, I think in 1984, 83. I think there was a clip on Instagram. But you saw him play? Was he just incredible? I mean,
big guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. No, just like
Dominique,
like muscle-wise, right? And remember, I was young. I think he died. What was it? I think I might have been 9 or 10 years old. He died, 86 maybe? So I think I was like 9 years old. You know, when he passed away. But yeah, I mean, he was one of these guys that like, you know, just
86.
at the time there weren't a lot of like guys who were cut up. You know what I mean? Like with all the physical stuff now, the guys were not like that. You remember Ewing? You know, he was a tall guy, a big guy, but not like jacked. You know, he was. Len Bias was clearly, you know, just a jack player. Plus, Maryland wasn't exactly like you know, a powerhouse player you're going to try to find. But yeah, look at that. Look at that picture of him. You can see. I mean, that's a muscular guy. You know, that's a muscular guy. But yeah, so it's. I mean, it sucks because there's another. You know, there's a lot of stories like that of people who we were kind of robbed of. You know, um, you know, I'm pretty sure his brother also died. Young as well. I don't know if it was drugs with him also, but I'm pretty sure he had a brother who also passed away as well. But yeah, I mean,
When
listen,
something like that happens, that shakes up a family, man. That's tough. Because when you have so much promise, you know, because in that situation, you're taking the whole family with you. You know what I mean? To kind of rattle family, it's really difficult. I can't imagine. Breaks my heart, man.
yeah, I mean, listen, it's obviously no one wants to hear about any of this stuff, you know, that happens. But yeah, no, I mean, there have been some crazy sports. So it's funny. I try to bring up like you know good NCAA stories. Clearly, that had a bad ending, but it was an amazing game. There, you say don't watch it. There are a lot of people, especially people who go to these schools, people who went to Michigan State, who love the Spartans, and this is like their favorite time of the year. People who went to Michigan and love the maize and blue. You know, people who went to North Carolina, Dukies. You know, who love playing for Duke. You know, who love going to Duke. You know, you got Kentucky guys, USC. I mean, just people who go to these schools, they become those fans. My play for today, guys, just I'll be quick and then I'll let Andrew take wherever it is. A lot of people don't know this because, you know, college, you have the Prism draft stuff and it's more geared towards, okay, who's going to be drafted and go to the NBA and that kind of stuff. There's actually a set, Upper Deck made it because, you know, Upper Deck didn't have the NBA license for a while, but they made a set of March Madness cards. I think it's 2014-15 that has not just the regular cards, like a cool Jim Valvano card, which you know you guys see that all the time. You know Jimmy V. You know everybody knows the foundation and the story there. But you can get autographs of because they're in their college uniforms with March Madness stories and poses. You get autographs of if it's your favorite guy, but also legit NBA greats. And I mean, talk about like I saw an Elvin Hayes. $25. And that is by far not the cheapest one. If you're a Jamal Mashburn, have you ever watched Mashburn play? Jamal Mashburn he played for Kentucky. There's a $15 autograph for Jamal Mashburn. You know, Antoine Walker from the Celtics, $17. You
Guy's
know, I
signing
mean,
everything though.
right, I get it, but I'm on the low end here trying to find 15, 20, you know, dollar stuff. If you wanted to spend $25, you can get, you know, significant guys. And you can also find guys who I was at that game. If you're a college sports fan, oh yeah, I remember that game. I remember watching that game. Or, you know, I remember seeing that you know, that Glenn Rice performance, you know, sharpshooter Glenn Rice. There's even like duels, right? There's a cool like Vinny Del Negro and Spud Webb teammates. They were both, I think, NC State. So you know, with
I mean,
March
this is a cool
Madness,
card, Cage. You take a look
there's
at
the
this.
Alvin
I
Hayes.
think this
Yeah,
Alvin Hayes.
the
That's a
$25.
beautiful card, right?
Yeah, how much is that?
$25. So check this out. This is UCLA versus
Nice.
Houston semifinal autograph. Look at that. I mean, that's a pretty card. You could zoom in here and take a look in the background if there's some other greats. That's really cool. Anyone
Sorry,
else, Cage?
the kids want to get ice cream, so you know it's not.
There's
can't.
very little that distracts Cage, but when the kids don't get the food that they need, this guy's ready to rip people's faces off. He
It's
ordered
true.
Uber Eats from Walgreens before this, which is
Yeah, like
blasphemy.
groceries. Yeah,
And
groceries.
they didn't deliver some stuff, dude. The guy, I thought he threw his phone through that brick wall behind you.
Well, I was pretty pissed off because you know. I mean, come on. Like I'm not. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. And I feel bad when I don't get what I'm supposed to get. But anyway, so yeah, there's Walgreens not far from here. Walgreens, you can get Walgreens, you can get CVS.
Not Giant, not Wegmans, not Whole Foods,
No,
not
no,
Trader
no,
Joe's.
no. So
Walgreens to get your
The
food.
Uber Eats apps has like a grocery like convenience delivery. They don't have Wegmans or like to stop it. I could do Peapod if I wanted to get a full on shopping thing. But the kids they were watching some Disney movie. And they're like, we want ice pops, and I'm like, I got to record an episode. I can't run to the store and buy you ice pops, but I can have them delivered. And of course, they delivered everything, but not the ice pops. You talk about like the fruit pops, that kind of
And
stuff. So
hence how his kids you started microwaving their ice cream, and then
yeah,
it's just all
microwave the ice
downhill
cream.
from there.
But I put it on mute just now. The ice cream man ran by. And
Did
so
they?
I muted it. And the kids went running outside to get ice cream. So they got ice cream.
Are they
But that's
safe?
not enough. They seem to be safe right now. I could see the
Did,
ice cream.
did they
man,
get
so.
Choco Taco? Right?
No.
Gotta get the Choco.
I think Leah, I think, got a snow cone. It looked like she got a snow cone. Yeah, it looks like she got a snow cone. I don't know, a little weird. Anyway, guys.
She loves that.
It's a fun
stuff,
little
yeah.
bit. You got a snow cone? Yeah, it's a snow cone. It's a snow cone. It's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not everybody loves March Madness, but I think it's a cool way to get an autograph of some of these, pretty awesome players, if that's your thing. And I know there are college nuts out there, people who love the purity of the college game before it's ruined, by being paid here. And keep in mind, there are Michael Jordan cards in this set. You want to go high end? I mean, I think there's a PSA 10 Jordan, shooting his game winner. Not an autograph, but, there's a Jordan one. There's Penny Hardaway. Who do you play for? Memphis, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a cool set. Take a look at it. It's one of those
I
weird
do
ones.
watch it, Cage. It's just there's no stars. Like the star now is like Chet Holmgren, and that guy's. I mean, he's not bad, but he's not a star. He's like a lanky goof.
How about Drew Timmy?
Goof.
You like a little
that guy's
Timmy?
not gonna do anything in the NBA, man.
He doesn't have to now with the name and likeness stuff that they're able to get paid for. He's doing Dollar Shave Club. He's shaving his beard. He's making more money than I'm telling you. Seriously, look it up. He got a deal like the name and likeness with the Dollar Shave Club, and he's like, Harry's or whatever that is.
Drew Timmy doesn't. After watching Kyrie go off for 60 and seeing what true skill is, watching Drew Timmy getting in the post and throwing it over some other guy who's smaller than him, no, that doesn't really get it for me.
But Kyrie played a year for Duke, right?
He didn't play much.
I remember him playing.
He didn't play much
in college. I remember
he didn't play much. He played a little bit, but he didn't play much. His team didn't do much. That's the Kyrie's issue, man. He doesn't stay on the court. It's always like he flashes here and there because his talent is insane, man. It's so undeniable. And then you watch highlights and you're like, what am I watching here? This guy is just dominating, folks. Sorry, it's college. Yes.
Drew Timmy is the first chinfluencer. Dollar Shave Club. He's official raiser of March Madness and creates the world's first chinfluencer with Gonzaga star Drew Timmy and his noticeably smooth chin, and encourages fans to show off their smooth chins. We are living in a simulation, man.
It's crazy, but I do like the stories of like Few is the coach there, like to go to a school that's really not like a great basketball school, change the program around and like build a whole city industry around that. Now Gonzaga's top of the top. And I do like stories like that, like the story of how Coach K got to Duke. They almost wanted to fire him, and they were patient, and it paid off. So I do love that. I'm gonna watch it. I love sports. I love competition. My play, I'll get into it. So
March Madness, it's fun, man. Next couple weeks, there's very little
you're gonna be
sports
mint
like this
for NCAA. I mean,
yeah, but like these first games. And there's a lot of like close games, even though it's like an 11-6 matchup and a 12-5 matchup. There's like 2.3 point spreads.
Dude, they throw bricks.
You just watched you just watched the one game now, right? Which game was it? I forget. Was it Indiana? Those guys. Some of these teams
like
can't
4 or 5
score.
games. Michigan State, man.
Some of these teams, they play. You know what they do? They play this thing called defense. They play
Tennessee
this thing called
versus
defense.
Kentucky. They were just chucking bricks. A lot of NBA fans hope that, Tennessee versus Kentucky, also Brick City, just a few days ago. To which our team responded, "Hey, don't be an idiot, just bet the unders," which they're kind of right. Anyway, a lot of NBA fans want to see a team back in Seattle, right? Supersonics. We love the Supersonics. And before I get into my play, it will be a little bit brief here. My real play is the OPG Gretzky in a grade. Or
what grade?
Some...
Any grade?
I mean, my real play is yesterday's episode. Go re-listen to it because if you look at the charts, you're seeing the movement that Cage discussed, and that Gretzky will inevitably be next. In a lot of ways, Gretzky is the great of greats in his respective sport. There's no one even within like a mile of him. He's that good. So the OPG Gretzky is 100% my play.
Like the card. It's a cool card.
Yeah, and I would do some research. I don't know hockey well enough, but I loved yesterday's episode. And for people joining today, I would go back and listen. But today's a cheap play. And I think the Supersonics are good. I think Seattle's going to get a basketball team.
The owner of the Seattle Supersonics celebrates Hanukkah. No.
Who's the owner? Paul Allen?
Do you remember that
Paul?
from the song? I don't know who it was. It's no one now. But whoever it was when the Hanukkah song came out, there's a trend with your plays.
How do you figure that?
They're Adam Sandler driven. You also made a play of Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
Dude, Rod Carew's story is incredible. He passed out on the first hole, had a heart attack. He needed a heart, and the heart he got was someone that he mentored 20 years before, who got in a car, who passed. It was just crazy. That whole story is insane. My play is Sean Kemp, and it's a $5 to $10.
Sean Kemp. I love Sean Kemp.
A lot of people do. And I'm going to just pull up the card because I think it'll do better justice than I can stumbling over my words. I just like the card, and I think it's cheap and cool looking. So it's the 1990 Panini sticker, card number 20 of Sean Kemp. It's like a $20 card. Here's some for $14 and a PSA 9. It's a super low pop card. Here's 11, here's 29. Stickers have never caught on, but I think you could get this card raw in $2, $3, $4. You could get a PSA 9 for 14. I don't know what the 10s go for. But 10 is $100 here. Here it's 63 in an eBay auction. Get a pretty cool card. And I think if you're a Sean Kemp fan, if you're a Seattle Supersonics fan, I don't think you know about this card. I think a lot of people don't know about this card or this set, the 1990 Panini stickers. And I don't believe stickers have caught on. But Gary came into our group a few years ago, and he talked about how European collectors admire stickers, right? And we're talking about this whole European market getting into stickers. And gave the Zion European sticker, John Morant. Honestly, it's never caught on from an investment perspective, and it may never catch on. But if you're a fan and you kind of want something low pop, fun, that's cheap, already graded. Here you have a $14 PSA 9 or $60 PSA 10 of something with not a lot of pop.
Can I throw a card on the Sean Kemp pile? Because I love Sean Kemp. But sure. It's funny because it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. So we had this thing about how everybody loves Panini's downtowns. And then Topps did the home field advantage this year, remember? And they were like, I said, wow, these things look like downtowns. It's like, it's got the zoo and the Tatis, and it looks just like it. Do me a favor and pull up. Just type in eBay, 1993 Skybox Kemp Rain, Reign, because he was the Rain Man, but like rain over me.
Kemp,
it's 1993 Skybox Sean Kemp Rain, Reign. You don't have to write man, just write 1993 Skybox. I'm pretty sure that's the set that it was. And guys, it is one of my favorite cards when I collected as a kid. It is, if you find a good picture of it, sick background. Not that. That's not 93 Skybox. So 1993 Skybox. Reign, Reign. Reign. There it is anyway. You got it anyway. It's the second picture. So
I'm looking for a good picture, Cage. Don't freak out on me.
That's fine. I mean, if you type Reign, it'll probably come up. But there's one.
Oh, Rain Man.
Yeah, like rain. Like he reigns over you, like rain, but it was Rain Man. So
Seattle's the rainy city, dude.
Exactly. And there it is. It's got Seattle in the background, sort of like a downtown card, sort of like before metal PMGs came out, like the Jordan dunking over Chicago. There is Sean Kemp in 1993 dunking over Seattle. with a Rain Man. This was just an insert card. They had a sort of like what Hoops. You can find this for $1. You know, you can find this card for $1. In PSA grade, I don't know if there's many of them because it's a very common card, which is why I remember it because I definitely had several of them as a kid. But look at the card. It's Kemp dunking. I think he's like putting the ball over his back, like dunking behind the back, and he's dunking over Seattle. He's dunking over the landscape there, sort of like a downtown card, sort of like Jordan dunking over Chicago and the PMGs. But this is before any of that, guys. So, you know, people take their cues from stuff, right? You know, people, you know, take their little artistic, cues from different stuff. This kind of predates them all. It was a pretty cool like Skybox premium set. There were other cards, you know, in that set. I don't remember what they called the card itself, but yeah. Anyway, that was a cool one just for your Kemp play.
You are an encyclopedia of cards. I guess you collected for so long. You have them all stored somewhere.
Well, I don't have this card anymore. I wish I did.
No, stored somewhere in your brain.
But yeah, I mean, I'm 93 Skybox. You know, there are some really cool looking cards from 93 Skybox. Like the Jordan Center Stage is a really sweet looking card.
Top 5 90s inserts. Go. Off your head. No one's going to hold your feet to the fire.
Too long. I love Fleer Ultra stuff. Right, so I love the Scoring Kings. I love the look of the Scoring Kings. The following year, I love the Power and the Key. Those were really cool insert. They're like neon, you know, with the key behind it, Power and the Key. Let's see. Oh, that same year. It's funny that if you go back to 93 Skybox, it's not an insert, but that's Sean Kemp. There's a cool one of Shaq called Future Shock. He's like holding the ball. It's also got lightning on it, sort of like the Scoring Kings. You put like Shaq Future Shock. You'll see that card, which was a really cool card.
The PMT
also.
Cage?
The what? There it is, Future Shock.
Playmaker, it's just Playmaker Theaters?
No, Playmaker Theater is rare. It's tough. It's not my favorite looking card. It's a cool card, but it's not. But look at this. These are like a book. But that's a cool card. That's Shaq's like second year, I think. You know, because he's a 92, right? I love Beam Teams.
Dude, this has got to be impossible to grade black.
Yeah,
you're gonna see every white little like speck on.
But it's a cool subset. You know what I mean? It was a very cool subset. You know, I liked what was new when it came out. I liked Skybox had a thing called the Skybox Draft Pick set for basketball, which was just a gold thing behind it. It was a pretty cool thing. Hoops had Magic's All Rookies, was cool. Not the most stunning looking card, but it was definitely it was definitely a cool card that not everybody had. I'm trying to think of other cool, like, you know, I collect in the early 90s. I guess I was a couple years younger, and I could have taken PMGs. You know what I mean? And I would have been collecting PMGs instead of collecting, you know, what I was collecting. But
Future Shocks and Rains.
Future Shocks. It shows you the evolution of cards, right? Like these obviously are the precursor to some of the other things that came a couple years later.
I think that a couple of years later they were shinier.
Yes, definitely.
And I think even if you were younger, you wouldn't buy it because I look at your, Christmas tree now. You hate shiny stuff.
You know what's funny is I don't know whether that's the case. I don't like shiny because when I collected, there wasn't shiny. You know, and I do like 93 Finest. That was shiny for me. Like that was the first refractor. Remember, I like those.
But then everything got shiny, and if everything was shiny, nothing was shiny.
Correct. Everything got shiny. 100% right. Like everything got shiny. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other like inserts that I liked. There was a cool Fleer insert. It was only in like jumbo, what they call them, Excello packs. It was called Tower of Power. But what was funny about that is it didn't have Jordan because it was all centers. It just show you how the hobby kind of changed, how collecting kind of changed. Because back when I was collecting, you know, you had Ewing, you had Robinson, you had Olajuwon, you had Shaq, you had Alonzo Mourning, Robert Parrish was still playing. Like they had enough guys where you could make an actual insert set out of centers. Now, today, if you were in control of what cards were made, you would never make a set of centers because nobody likes centers. No one collects centers. But wouldn't a Tower of Power set be cool? Like a Jokic, Embiid, Throw some of the, maybe some throwbacks, throw Tim Duncan in there, whatever it is. You can throw Giannis in there. They're a tower of power. There it is. That's a tower of power. Yep. You got Shaq.
That's a cool card.
Shaq was the lead. And those were only in certain Fleer like jumbo packs. That were the only ones that had them, right? You had to buy these like Zello packs. I remember I opened one at a show recently with Ian. We got Robert Parrish. And I was like, it's not Shaq. It's not Hakeem. But it's
those centers play back to the basket. Today's centers, get the ball at the 3-point line, juke. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The game's changed. It's crazy to see centers playing outside the perimeter.
Yeah, and to hear the game talked about. I mean, I watched Embiid Jokic the other night, and people were talking about how nice of a 3-point stroke Embiid has. Now he looks natural shooting the three. And I'm just telling you what the announcers were saying. And that, I remember Ewing was universally thought of a little soft, but universally thought of as the best jump shooting center. But he wasn't shooting threes.
He was shooting like 17-footers.
That's another episode. Enjoy March Madness. Come join in our Discord, and we appreciate it.